We got some good music today, bro.
I mean, I hope the energy's up for y'all, because I don't know if it was a Red Bull or Isaiah Rashad. This is not an ad. My bad. That was just natural hypeness. I swear. You guys listen to the whole J. Cole thing?
Yeah.
How many times?
Twice.
I'm sure you
once. I ain't got time for all that.
Dog, it's like 40 minutes, yo.
It was really quick. I actually listened to it twice.
Wow, Shaq, who are you?
But like, it wasn't like one wasn't like an intent, like I'm listening to every word bar for bar situation.
Yeah.
Actually, they both weren't like, but like it was a vibe. I don't know. I'm more open to a J. Cole versus what, if you don't know Shem, I would just call his music sleepy music. It just wasn't my vibe.
The man calls him sleepy.
I don't listen. I can't say I disagree too much, because I looked at J. Cole, and I'm not comparing rapping abilities a lot in the way that I viewed Nas, because both could spit forever, but both have a horrible history of choosing trash beats, trash beats. And I thought this Cole project, I thought he hit it at the park with the production. I thought the beats were fire. I thought the features were dope. You know, and anytime you got a baby feature and a camera feature, I mean, my God. Yeah. I thought he leveled up in that sense, big time.
Yeah, okay. Most def.
I agree. We'll talk a whole lot more, but maybe Shem's gonna hop on this beat finally, since Patrick keeps pump faking us every episode.
Let's hear what Shem's got.
Oh shoot, y'all ready for this? Oh shit! All right. Yo. Little man. Ting. Ready? Let's go. I am not. Here we go now. 1, 2. Here we go now. Look, I'm chilling with Shaq. I'm chilling with Pat. I'm not on my podcast. Hey. That's all I got.
Hey, honestly.
Bars.
What?
Bars.
Can I just say, that was like way better than Sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Way. Oh, Sticks. Shout out Sticks. That's my guy.
He snapped on that one.
Yo, shout out to Sticks. That's my guy. I love that guy, man.
Yo, I don't know why it's hard to freestyle on that beat, though.
It's because you either want to go like grime with it, or you want to go with like the heady one, like UK. Lazy UK,
like UK drill. Yeah.
You say like UK 4 words, and then you say the same thing like 8 times to rhyme. Yeah. You say blues clues, lose. Choose. Who's shoes?
That's cool. I love it.
Does that work?
I love it.
Mandem. It's not with a hype thing. A war.
Bro, take a week off and almost like forgot the whole
forgot how to do
structure.
It,
right?
The world general speaking.
How's it coming back as a 30-year-old man to podcast? We gave you a week off because you just took the whole weekend off. You was litty. You was getting mixy in these streets. Yep. You had a party. It was a drive-by.
Drive-by party. What you know about
drive-by party. I don't know if that's even crazier. Wow.
That's crazy. Let me show the folks. Let me peep the shirt.
May
right there,
1991, 30 years of being awesome. And of course the yard.
It's a quarantine edition.
Okay, I feel it.
Yeah. We still on the birthday energy. We keeping that going, bro. We keeping that going all month, yo.
Birthday month. Oh my God. And of course,
shop like Shaq. You.
And then we got a special guest. It's been like, we talked about this before the podcast actually started off air. Last in-person guest that we had before the Rona took us out. Wow. And made the shit virtual and ensured that I had a Zoom subscription.
I should have bought stocks in Zoom,
we have producer / on-air personality. Did I get that LinkedIn title correct?
I mean, we could say executive producer because it sounds a little nicer. I mean, that's really what it is. No, I'm playing it. Yeah, executive producer.
No, you're not playing. That's what it is.
You're right. I wasn't playing. I was trying to be humble. Executive producer and an on-air announcer as well as television correspondent.
Hey,
And teacher, by the way, at Humber College.
Welcome, teacher man.
Welcome, Professor teacher. Parkinson. That's the name.
Okay. What they got you teaching now?
I teach a radio broadcasting course at Humber College. I've been doing that for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I feel like I did know that. Yeah, I did know that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every time Shem comes on, the resume gets longer, bro.
Oh,
I love it.
Hey man, look, can I say, if I may say something? I'm a massive podcast listener, and Shaq, I think I told you this. Pat, I've told you this before. I'm a major podcast listener. I listen to like 3 or 4 podcasts weekly, and you guys are on my podcast list. I love what you guys do. I love that firstly you're young men doing it. I think that's great. Love the fact that you're young Black men doing it. I think that's double. I think that's extra great. Love the production. Love the growth that I've heard and seen in your podcast from when I was a live guest last time, even to now. Love how you guys have adapted to COVID. I think the video stuff is dope. I think that's smart. That makes sense. And you know what we need? The podcast is such a saturated medium, right? Like nobody's really, there's so many people doing the same thing, but you guys come with, it feels like you're sitting in and listening on friends having a conversation. And that to me is the most powerful part of a podcast in terms of this form. So, shout out to you guys. Much appreciated for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate all that. Like that's the concept that we wanted to chase. Like we wanted you to feel, everybody who listens to feel like they're kicking with us. Like I think that's what I said before we started recording ever.
100%. That's what made me want to jump on. Like I was like, yo, when Shaq told me about the plan and the vision, I'm like, I have to be on that. Like that's just what we do. It's 3 homies at the time just kicking it. So keep that.
You guys are doing a great job, man.
Means a shit ton from an executive producer / teacher month / all the things.
I love it.
So Patrick, tell us a little bit more about your birthday weekend extravaganza month. Month.
Yeah, thank you. Get it right. Yo, Shem knows what's up. It's tourist season in here.
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
I just turned 34 not too long ago myself.
Yeah, happy belated right there, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. But the birthday was wicked, man. Made the most of it out of, what's going on. Everyone obviously knows the situation, but I got surprised by my girl. She showed up at my place with these massive balloons, like decorated.
That was on like the Friday or the actual day?
On the actual day, the Thursday. She showed up.
Sorry.
And first off, there's I got a package the day before from my sister. Sent us some Omaha steaks. If you guys are familiar with
tell me more about the Omaha steaks. I don't know much.
I haven't grilled them yet. We're gonna do that tomorrow. But
is Omaha a cut?
No. It's a company in the States that basically ships you meat to your place, like premium cut steaks, beef, pork, all this sort of stuff. So she shipped that from Philly to us in Toronto. So we got that. That started Wednesday morning. Thursday now, I wake up, my girl shows up. She's got this huge elaborate balloon display. Got the 30th, you got to have the numbers. Got the champagne. The balloons are like
balloon arrangement.
The balloons are in the style of like champagne, so it looks like you're popping bottles. Then she shows up with a cake as well, which was not just any cake. Like this cake was delicious. Shaq, you had some of it.
That cake was fire. Like kudos to whoever made that shit. It was like Oreo on the inside with some fondant, and like it was. Anyways, continue. That shit was delicious.
The cake was amazing, and also just the way it was decorated. So got the Jamaican flag on there. So big up all the yardies. And then of course we had Malvern because I always rep Vern. You know what it is, Shem. And then
amen.
And then of course there was picture of my mom on there too. So a picture of my mom and I. And for those who don't know, I lost my mom when I was 17. So birthdays are always a little tough, but seeing that just made everything like worth it. Like nothing could top that at that moment. Fast forward to the weekend. I didn't even know this was happening. Saturday comes around. I'm thinking we're potting. I'm like, yo, okay, I gotta get back, gotta pod, whatever. Next thing you know, I walk outside and a bunch of the homies are outside on the street in their cars.
You didn't even see us till you got close, which is funny. I'm just watching this clueless guy just like walking around, wondering why he's even outside, I'm sure.
Exactly. I was so confused, bro. My girl just told me, she's like, get ready. We're going out. I'm like, where are we going? Like, it's COVID.
She didn't say nothing. She said, we're going out.
Yeah. So I'm grabbing everything. I'm like, what do I wear? I'm grabbing all sorts of stuff. And then I'll walk outside and just seeing everyone in their cars and just, it was wicked, man. It was wicked. Good to see everyone drive by. People came from all over the GTA, like Brampton,
Richmond Hill,
downtown Toronto, talking like Durham region. So to see that love, especially in a time like this, it meant a lot. So big up to everyone, and even the listeners who reached out, sent messages and stuff like that. Like, definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
No,
That's dope, man.
you had to, like, you had an actual birthday, like, and then you didn't even mention the fact that we went to the street eats market after we had the drive
exactly.
the drive thing. So it felt like we were literally celebrating this guy's birthday, doing shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a vibe. The weather was decent.
It was 100% a vibe. 100%.
Yo, that street eats place, I didn't even know that was a thing until my sister was like, yo, here's some food. And she had, was it La Vietnamita or something like that?
The Vietnamese.
I don't know what you said.
Was it the Vietnamese
I don't know what, I think I might have just like slurred by accident. I might have spit up by accident. So, but yo, yeah, the Vietnamese place. It was just like, yo, this place was dope. I didn't even know that they were doing street eats or festivals or.
You didn't watch the
like
Patrick videos?
You didn't see the videos?
Oh, excuse me. What videos are you?
Get a whole content series.
I had a whole series, bro. When they launched.
Oh, excuse me. I had no clue.
Yeah.
Glad that I know. Yeah, it was great. I went back maybe once or twice after.
Nice.
That, but I won't.
This was the STC one?
Yeah, right at Scrubber Town.
Yeah. So my girl was with me. So, I had to show her. I got to show her Malvern.
There you go. Got to show her the vibes.
Got to show her, introduce her to Malvern. Got to introduce her to STC. Mm-hmm. It's a rite of passage for any Torontonian. Unfortunately, we couldn't go inside, but she didn't have to go to the food court first. I was about to say you could. She didn't have to walk through the food court and survive that whole mess. But no, it was cool. Like, it was a great day. I'm glad you got to have a birthday. Especially at 30th.
Definitely, and I gotta give a shout out to the cake decorator. So if anyone's asking, Cake Pops _by Kira on Instagram. Check her out. Delicious cakes. So that's a free plug right there. But amazing desserts.
Yeah,
and
that shit was so good.
Make sure you check her out, yo.
Yeah, man. How was your week, Shem? Or how have you been during COVID? Since I won't say week because we haven't talked in a minute, really. But
no, I'll tell you something. Whenever somebody asks me that, I always kind of feel bad because so many people are either not working or they're working from home and nothing has changed. I've been in the studio every single day. I'm actually at work right now. So nothing has changed like at all for me.
You're in the studio right now?
I'm in one of the
guy's that rapper that says I sleep in the stew. I sleep in the stew.
I'm here now, man. And what's wild is that my days start pretty early. I start at 2:30 in the morning each day. So I'm nothing has changed, right? Honestly, I mean, life has changed, but from a work perspective, not too much has changed.
You started at 2:30 in the morning today?
Every day, from Monday to Friday.
How are you so
What are you talking about? So tell me that day. Tell me what today was. What'd you do? You woke up at 2:30.
No. I start my day, meaning I'm at work at 2:30. So my alarm goes off at 1:30 every morning.
So you go to bed from what? Like, what's your sleep hours?
I should go to bed at like 8, but I go to bed at like midnight. So I go to bed. I typically get about an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep a night, typically. And then I'm up at 1:30, 1:45. Yeah, it's nuts.
How do you function?
Yeah.
Do you have a cocaine problem?
I might.
I'm like, how do you do it? This Red Bull's not going to take care of it.
Right? No.
Too much snowfall.
Yeah. By the way, dope ass show. No, look, I've been this way since high school, to be honest with you. It's just gotten worse now that
Is it insomnia?
So much earlier. Yeah, definitely insomnia.
So your work just balances with your insomnia, as you're saying.
It's perfect. I mean, look, I would never change my schedule for anything because my day is technically done at like noon when everybody else is kind of in the thick of their days, right?
Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Okay, I was thinking that you were, because like I'm seeing you're saying you're at the studio right now. It's like 7:30 right now. So I'm just
to be fair, I went home and came back. To get some stuff done. So I've not been here literally since 2:30 in the morning. There are some days where it's like that, honestly, between that and the TV stuff. But I always say, I'm super grateful. Like there are people in not just all industries, but I can tell you, especially in media, who have lost their jobs, and media is really consolidating jobs like crazy, right? Like nowadays, nobody is just one thing. Nobody's just a host. You're a host, you're a producer, you're a technical broadcast, you're doing everything, right? So I'm grateful. I've been at this now for 10 years. COVID has not changed my job too much. In fact, I think it's probably given it a little bit more importance because for a lot of people, we are an outlet, right? We're an escape for a lot of people, in the same way that what you guys do is an escape for a lot of people, right? And I think in some sense we provide a little bit of normalcy for the people who are used to, getting up in the morning, driving into work, listening to the radio. We provide a certain sense of normalcy now. So I think there's a certain level of heightened importance in terms of what we do, but look, at the same time, I'm not working out of an ICU. My biggest breaking news has to do with the Kardashians and a Rihanna music drop, which I'm just waiting for. I think we all are.
I was about to say, did I miss something?
Yeah, I'm like, what you talking about?
No, I know, right? I shouldn't have said Rihanna. That'll get people excited. But I mean this truly, and I haven't always been super grateful for my job, just to be fully transparent. I haven't always really appreciated what it is that I get a chance to do every single day. But what I get to do is fun, right? I get to come in, I get to kind of chop it up and do silly stuff and, kind of give myself a little bit of a distraction from all things COVID. All things COVID related, because I think we all have COVID fatigue, right? We're all tired of it. We're all sick of it. We all deal with it on our daily life. Like personally, it's touched my family. It's touched my life. I've lost 5 people to COVID since this pandemic has began. So we all suffer from COVID fatigue. So getting a chance to do a job that I get to do, that I love, I'm so incredibly grateful. And really, the last year has just been leaning more into that and figuring out what the next step is. Because I will tell you, boy's got an itchy finger. I'm ready to figure out what that next move is. Yeah. I'm really, really thinking about what that next move is now.
So how do you feel about like that whole like COVID fatigue factor? Because I think like if we go back to when COVID was like that, the pandemic just started, we were on super lockdowns. George Floyd had just passed away. All that stuff was going on. How, like, doing what you do, where you joked about like talking about the Kardashians and stuff like that and providing that outlet, was that always the mindset, or was there a moment where you're like, what am I really talking about when shit's real right now? Like, because like that's a conversation we had internally too. So I can only imagine that you've had that.
That's a great question. I'll tell you, it's been a challenge, right? And I don't think you can even separate COVID from the sort of racial, let's call it a racial renaissance that has happened in the United States and North America over the last 2 years or so. It's been a lot. It's been heavy. It's been really, really heavy. And I think it's caused me to a certain extent to sort of ask myself, like, should I be doing something a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say meaningful, because I do think that there's value to what I do, like I mentioned, in terms of providing an escape. But it has caused me to pause a little bit and ask myself, well, how can I use my platform to really address a lot of these other issues? And I've been trying to do that on a personal level. I work for Rogers Being a Company, and there's been a lot of discussion of I&D, inclusion and diversity, and ways that we can, better our work environment here, where we can better our communities. And I've been really heavily involved in that, it probably more so than I have been in the past. But I'm so grateful to have the sort of separation between not having everything be about COVID, a Black man being killed, on camera, like that's a lot, right? That's a lot for all of us. We're all Black men on, chatting it up right now. It's exhausting. Like it's actually physically exhausting day in and day out to dealing with COVID, dealing with, different traumas. It's a lot. So I'm really happy, and I'm lucky. I'm so lucky that I get an outlet to talk about some silly shit every now and then.
Yeah. No, most definitely. I see you like on breakfast television sometimes as well, doing your, your silliness on there. But I think as someone who watches that, and that has now become like my routine, and just, again, like you said, listening to the radio a bit more and stuff like that, like, I thank you for what you do, because there's days where like you just need to not hear about COVID or the tragedies that are happening in the world, right? So definitely appreciate what you do, man.
Well, likewise to you guys, man. Honestly, you guys, you do the exact same, right? You provide entertainment to your listeners and that escape, and I think we're all kind of doing our part for sure.
And to that, thank you. I want to kind of do a little bit of the opposite to you, Shem.
Oh shoot! Here comes the smoke. All right.
Yep.
Yo, what pleasure do you get? Like, who do you think you are? And why do you assault the people who love and appreciate you so much on the timeline with the vile caucasity that you discover in the underbelly of the internet, definitely at like 3:30 in the morning?
Oh, 100%.
Like you're wide awake and we're definitely asleep, not knowing this shit is happening.
He's like,
Why
do you do
how
this
I
to
destroy
us?
their day.
Why do you do this
man,
to us? And like you tease the last one too, and you're like, and then you did it.
Well, look, to be fair, I gave you all a warning, right? And I'm a really big believer in balance in life, right? So in balance, I think you have to have a little bit of righteousness and a little bit of ratchetness. And on my timeline, I want you to know that when you come to my timeline, I'm going to do two things in particular. I'm going to A, make you think, and B, make you so mad at me that you want to hit that unfollow, but you can't hit that unfollow because I ain't saying nothing too left and too crazy, right? Nothing too controversial.
And for those people that don't know what I'm referring to, I'm referring to like the one that comes to mind was like the people that were like teaching you how to make ramen in mass quantities, and wasn't she like in a
bathtub stepping on it? Yeah,
that was disgusting.
What was the most recent one that you did?
The one with
the most recent one was spaghetti. Yeah, the one with put the spaghetti on the counter, and then she put the meatballs on the counter, and then noodles, and then mixed it up. You know, look, I think it is. Firstly,
this guy justifying his actions with this straight face.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I tell you something. I could post, not to get like all heavy. I could literally post Black Lives Matter, right, on my page. 5, 6, 7, 8 comments, 10 comments, right, whatever, something like. I could post a woman making spaghetti with her feet, and my page goes off. I get notifications for days. In fact, I got blamed for something. I'll tell you something. 6buzz posted that those same sort of people making a drink out of a toilet bowl. Yeah, 6buzz posted it.
Right? That's a Shem post.
Yo, you know how many people I had say to me, yo, what the hell is this? Why the hell did you send this to 6buzz? I'm like, I ain't send it to 6buzz. Why did you send it? Yo, how are you blaming me for that? I ain't sent it to 6buzz. But listen, it's heartwarming to know that when it's all said and done, I will be known for a man who posted some nasty ass viral videos of
it's a troll
caucasity at its finest.
Let me ask you something, because
talk to me.
Deep down, I feel like you must have tried some of these. You've done.
Yeah, you tried these hacks.
I know. You tried a hack.
You out your damn mind. Okay? I don't know what. Did you have the AstraZeneca?
Is currently.
You must be out your damn mind.
This guy's counter is currently stained with tomato paste.
I'm telling you, he's got some nasty concoction going on there.
Nah, I would never. I did have somebody slide into my my DMs saying that they actually think the latest one with the spaghetti is actually not that bad if you clean your countertop properly. No. I'm like, oh, you're nasty, man. But this is, you know what? I'll tell you this, though. It's a really good lesson. In fact, you know what? I shouldn't be getting no smoke. Really and truly, I should be getting a little bit of praise and thanks, because I'm teaching you, I'm giving you a life lesson that says you don't eat from everybody. You know what I mean?
You
just don't eat from everybody.
Took that shit and spun it on his head and was like, yo,
you sure don't work in
spun that spaghetti and served it up.
Listen, if you want to go to your next work potluck, if you want to go to, your buddy Billy's house and you want to go eat because Billy's mom said, oh, come here, Shaq, come here, Patrick, made some good potato salad for you, and you want to eat it. You don't know if that's been made in a toilet bowl. You don't know if that's been made by their dog. I'm just here to give you pause.
Maybe it's a good thing barbecues are canceled, because now I'm just thinking like,
yeah, but you're not going to like that barbecue, like that person that Billy that he was describing. You're not going to his house for a barbecue and eating his food. You're going to that barbecue with
more than Jamal's barbecue.
Yeah.
Cookout, to be safe.
Cookout. It's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cookout, kickback, something.
Lime.
Lime. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's funny because like people literally hate you. Like you're in the corner of the room going like this, like yeah.
I'm sitting there watching. I love it, and I'll be really honest with you. This is how diabolical I can be. I will know the exact time to post this stuff, right? Like, I'm not gonna post it during the
And this guy's
day.
following the algorithm,
Right?
too,
He knows
to catch everybody.
I am an algorithm assassin. You hear me? So I make sure that I post it like at night. You know, people are on their phones, they're chilling, and they're watching TV. If you see me post content, let me put you onto some game. When it comes to Shem.
I like this.
All right? No, this is how you know I'm trash. Okay. Anytime you see me post anything between 8 and 10 p.m., I'm looking for that reaction. It could be a thirst trap. It could be a dirty video. It could be anything. If you see me post something between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. on my platform,
demon
time.
you know, demon time.
This guy's demon time is 8 and 10 p.m. because he wakes up at 2 a.m.
His only fans is nasty food combos. Oh man.
So because we were just talking about creators and trust, I do want to get to the J. Cole, and we were talking in the context of going to the studio. We were talking about, you know, bigging each other up for being the break in other people's lives when shit can be real serious and whatever. The Joe Budden podcast is that for many.
Ooh, yeah,
look at you guys.
Okay.
So, for those that don't know, like the Joe Budden podcast is definitely one of the best, most popular podcasts in the world.
Yeah. Period.
I'd say.
Yeah.
And he has that show with his two co-hosts, Rory and Maul. And you know, if you've listened to this podcast before, we've had conversations about what it's like to work with co-creators when you're building a vision, you're with a team and you're like trying to figure it out. And sometimes those, you know, it goes from being fun and games and a passion to a business, and things can get a little bit different. We've had that conversation before with Joe Budden and his two friends, Rory and Maul, who, you know, he's known very well. They took about a 6-week break because there was some on-air tension. And Shem, you're going to be the fact checker here because you said you did your deep dive. So correct me or stop me if I'm wrong or you need to elaborate in certain areas.
Yeah, I got you.
Building a timeline for the people.
Here we go.
So 6 weeks they took off. Before that, Joe basically texted his co-host Rory and said, "Don't show up for the next take the week off." He was basically saying without a choice. So take the week off. Rory, I think, replied with a question mark, and then Joe just like gave the exclamation point to what he previously had already said. So there was already tension going on there. I'm sure that's also why it turned into an extended break, because it wasn't real communication going on. And then they decided to, after the 6-week break where Joe had temporarily not replaced, but the show must go on to that effect, had his homeboys come through and fill the seats. Rory and Maul came back. They said everything was good. There was like, oh, the internet wanted to see us fail, but like, you know, we're still here, and we chopped it up and everything's good behind closed doors. I don't know if you guys listened to that episode, but to me, it still didn't fully feel like the relationship, which is what is integral to every good podcast, the chemistry. I don't think the genuine aspect of that was there at that time.
No,
I just feel like if this is business, this is why we're here. Yeah. Agree? You guys disagree?
1,000%. Yeah. There had been tension. Just to go back a little bit, Shaq. There had been tension on the pod for a few episodes prior to that hiatus. It had been like, I mean, Joe Budden is a wild boy, right? Like that man's always yelling.
But those guys know him.
Every podcast,
they know him. Those are his boys.
They know him. That's who he is. But you could definitely sense a shift. I would probably say for the last, a month and a half of podcasts, and they drop 2 episodes a week. Right. Yeah. So you're talking about 8 or 10 podcasts that there's just been some weird, awkward tension. But your timeline is right so far.
Thank you. So so they did that episode where they said that they settled everything. It's all good. And they said it had to do with a lot of stuff with like people going into their own corners, having people in their ears, misunderstandings, lack of communication type stuff. It was very vague for the sake of the podcast, but it seemed like they definitely had a conversation beforehand, and they even took the liberty to posting a photo of all 3 of them kicking it, like leading up to that episode coming out. So we thought that everything was good, but like I said, when you listen to it, it just sounded like maybe they got to repair it. me as a podcaster who's gone through similar situations with people where like, you're like, okay, now the dynamic has changed since we're airing out grievances. Mm-hmm. How do we choose to adapt and let's try it again? Mm-hmm. To me, that's very hard to do, because as organic as these conversations are, they are somewhat performative, and I find that very hard to fake. You can't fake the chemistry. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Still right so far?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're good so far.
Yeah.
So Joe puts out a podcast this past Wednesday. Puts it out early in the morning, as he typically does, and like I'm only knowing this because homies are hitting me, because they're like, people that follow the Joe Budden podcast are fiends for that stuff. You know, he's got a Patreon where people pay for the extra content.
Crazy.
Yep.
So he posts it, takes it down immediately. I think after a few minutes or something like that. And my two of my homies hit me up, and they're like, yo, did you hear about the Joe Budden podcast? I was like, what happened? Homie's like, dude fired Maul and Rory live and just was airing out their shit just like that. So I was looking for it. Somebody sent me a link, because people just have links.
Can we pause there for a second?
People sent me the pod.
Yo, mans are bootlegging podcasts now?
Like, yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So send me the link. I'm listening to it. I'm halfway through listening to it, and I actually looked at the Joe Budden podcast, and it said that they posted a 20-minute video. It sounded like a snippet of an excerpt from the main episode, but he threw the whole thing on Patreon after. So I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't know that you did that with this. It just fell into my hands before I knew you had to pay for it. But anyways, they put it there, and I'll play a clip of Joe basically, so people that didn't hear this can get a sense of the tone and how Joe is feeling. And if you don't know Joe, he's always yelling, so don't be intimidated. Like he does this.
Just yells.
Oh, and he was actually yelling to their empty chairs, just to add that mental visual picture.
He still feels like he has choices and options. He feels like he's entitled to more. Rory, you are in breach of your contract, and from this point forward, you are fired, and you're not welcome back. Does anybody in here have a problem that I'm the person that has to say that?
No.
Maul, I'm the person that has to say that. The gall of you to think that you are observing the way that I am, to think that I have to come to you about a problem I have with another man. We have things sorely mistaken around here. That's not ego and arrogance. It's realism. He still feels like he has choices.
I don't know if you guys want me to go into a little bit more about the details of the situation that I heard off of that episode, or if you guys want to react off of that right now.
That's just wild right there.
Yeah, look, you know what? No, please go in. Please go in more. I definitely have more to say.
So to add context, Rory and Maul were expected to show up at that episode as they typically do to record. There was no expectation that they wouldn't show up. There was no expectation that the topic of conversation was going to be, let's air these guys out. Let's tell everybody that they're fired. We're done. They just didn't show up. I think Rory had messaged Joe to say he still needed some time to figure things out or something to that nature. And Maul in this whole situation is very like, yo, if my guy Rory's not in, I'm gonna be loyal and I'm not in type situation. Which
can I say is interesting because Maul's relationship he's got deeper ties with Joe. It's not as if he's got the deep ties with Rory. So I find that to be a very interesting dynamic. Like there's got to be more going on between Maul and Joe than we might realize. But yeah, I found that to be interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. That was good. That was good. So these guys didn't show up. Joe said this. I was honestly ready to hear and be like, yo, Joe is wilding. This guy's too crazy for his own homies. Yeah. I was ready to side
with Rory and Mal, because I'm like, I can understand how hard it could possibly be to work with a Joe Budden, regardless of what great vision that he has for his podcast, his networks, his co-hosts. But I can imagine that being difficult. But upon listening to that whole podcast, and I'm excited to hear what happens after this, because I feel like Rory and Mal, or at least Mal, wants to be vocal about his truths in some degree. I'm not sure if he wants to do it on the Joe Budden podcast, but he wants to do it at some point, I saw. But Joe essentially said that when they signed the Spotify deal, which is almost a year and a bit ago, something like that, which is where their podcast, which was like something where you make a couple thousand in every brand partnership that they were able to get or something like that. It wasn't like a job for them. It turned into one when they got the Spotify deal. At that point, Rory's like, yo, I kind of want a piece, which is something completely reasonable. So he asked Joe, yo, can I get a piece? I want some ownership in this and equity. Joe said no. And agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. Joe has the right to say no. So Rory starts saying he wants some of the YouTube money. And that was very interesting for me to hear from a 30-year-old dude who is like very industry. That's like he was like he worked at Sony Music. So I expected him to come through with a little bit more knowledge as far as like how that stuff works, because I can't imagine the YouTube money being like a big enough piece that like that's the first thing that you're gonna say. Right. Like, no, give me that YouTube money. Like that's pennies to $1 of whatever they're making from anything they do. If you're trying to really reassess things. But Joe also said no there. Joe did reply and say, I will give you I'll give you the video footage. You can start your own YouTube. I'll do the same for both you and Mal. We all both know that those guys aren't really social media dudes. So guess what they did? Nothing. Right. So they did nothing. But there was also still this sense of like, let me peep under the hood. There was like this sense of like entitlement. There was a sense of like, I don't trust what's going on type thing, where they might have felt that like they were owed more. Whether it be from at least an ownership perspective from the beginning of what Rory was saying, or a monetary one eventually. So Joe agreed to let them see how things was going on. And, he comes to basically say like, yo, I was overpaying you. Like, you're getting paid better right now without a deal than you were with the deal. And there's nothing in play. Like there's no, so I'm technically overpaying you. So there was also the resentment aspect of having to do this whole thing. So after everything was squashed and Joe was looking at these dudes and he's just like, wow, like you didn't trust me. Like I was looking out for my friends. I was looking out for my homies. That's where he was coming from. He was coming through with love. And turns out they had a different view of the whole situation that he might not have been. They shared lawyers. Anyways, I gave you a whole lot there. How do you guys feel about the way that Joe decided to go about it? Let's start there first before we even go right versus wrong.
Yeah. Shem, I'll let you go ahead.
You know what? I'm not so. Anybody who knows Joe Budden can't be surprised with how he went about this. In fact, you mentioned he is a content creator.
This is
of course, you're going to turn this into content.
I almost feel like the turning it off and throwing it on Patreon really quick was like a strategy, bro.
100%. He's saying, wait a minute, why am I giving y'all this for free when I'm about to make the most amount of money off Patreon with this single video than anything that we have done up until this point?
Yep.
Right? Not surprised at all at how Joe went about it. I'll be honest with you. Mal and Rory messed up. Mal and Rory, in my opinion, really messed up.
Talk about it.
And it's for a couple reasons.
I know when Patrick says talk about it, he disagrees. Keep going.
Okay. No, that's okay. I like that. No, I think that's good. I'll say this. Mal and Rory aren't Mal and Rory without the Joe Budden brand. And I think there's no denying that. Now, some might argue that they helped elevate the Joe Budden podcast to where it is and became sort of, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman level on their own. To
Joe would argue
MJ.
that Joe's saying, sorry to cut you off, but he was saying that it was all of them. They all built this. This is not me and you guys are just under me and like I can do this without you. It was the chemistry that did it. So
right. And there's something to be said to that. But I will say this. You want to know how I feel like Mal and Rory really screwed up is because Joe's homies, Ice and Ish, who stepped in for him, didn't do a bad job. I mean, at first they were all right.
Yeah,
they were all right. They don't have the same chemistry.
They have no media training at all. He has to tell them to talk with the mic.
Yeah, none of them do. And the chemistry is a little bit different for sure. But let's be honest. You tuned into the Joe Budden podcast once or twice a week because first and foremost, in terms of the hierarchy of opinions that you wanted to listen to, was Joe's. Yeah. It was always Joe's. And Joe was smart enough to know that that's how people felt, right? And I also think Joe said to himself, I don't need y'all. I got options. I got options. Look, he's got a partnership potentially with DJ Academics right around the corner if he wants to do the whole everyday struggle thing again. I think Academics is whack as hell.
But he brings that brand back.
Yeah. But he brings the brand back. You tell me that's not going to put eyes, and I'll tell you something that I think is even on the low. Potential hookup with him and Charlemagne.
Talk about it because you said that he was silent during this whole thing.
Charlemagne has said, I listen to the Breakfast Club every single morning. And I have for the last 9 years or so. Every single morning, I don't miss it. Charlemagne the God has not criticized
the past
Joe
month
Budden,
and a half.
Not clowned him when has Charlemagne ever passed up an opportunity to clown somebody? Yeah. And he and Joe have that very adversarial relationship, right? Like that's sort of their thing.
He's done that for Rory and Mal specifically. Like he's had smoke for them specifically.
Yes, absolutely. And he has said nothing. And I think you can either chalk it up to Charlemagne's growth as a person, or you can chalk it up. Which I don't think so. No. Or you could chalk it up to the fact that he understands that this is still a business at the end of the day, and there is business to be had. Look, I like Rory and Mal. I really do. I think Rory and Mal I think they grew on me quite a bit. I thought some of Mal's takes were whack as hell, but you know what though?
That's crazy.
But you know what though? That's great. Yeah, that sounds just like Mal. That's crazy. That sounds just like Mal. But I'll say this: what makes a good audio communicator is not that I agree with you, is that I'm entertained by you and that I want to listen to the things that you have to say, whether I agree with them or not. And both Rory and Mal really came into their own. I think before the Spotify deal, but especially over the last 2 years or so, they've really come into the deal. I think that they have really made a miscalculation here. And I think I'm not saying they're going to go into their own business and going to do their own podcast. The only time they're not allowed to for a year, but the only time anybody's going to listen to a Mal and Rory podcast is if it is them reacting that first initial reaction video to Joe. And then after that, nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn what you have to say. And the thing is, people only are going to want to tune into them to hear them trash Joe. Yep. And if they're not there to trash Joe, nobody's going to care.
Their takes are horrible. Where I think they messed up. Their takes work because of the dynamic. What do you think, Patrick? Because you disagree, I think.
No. I actually don't disagree.
Okay.
Initially listening up to the pod, first of all, his pods are very long, first of all.
Oh my gosh.
You got to take him in pieces. That's what I tell people about our podcasts.
No. But so I was listening and like halfway through, I was like, okay, I don't think they were wrong. And then as you get to the end of it, I was like, man, I felt like you guys, they definitely went about this the wrong way. And to take it a step further too, is just, I don't listen to his pod often, like the Joe Budden pod often, but I listen for his opinion on things like you guys said. And also, I had no idea who these guys were beforehand. I had no idea that, like, I went
just his homies.
I went to Duce Palooza. I didn't even know that was Rory's thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that until listening to him bring it up on the pod. So, like, they don't have that brand recognition that Joe has. And it's, I don't know how they're going to bounce back from this. But I also know, on the flip side of that, Joe's had a history of this sabotage. I'm not going to call it sabotage, but he's had a history of the bad breakups with business partners in media. Like everywhere he's been has ended badly.
Would you
It's
say
very on brand?
But would you say that this might be it was still messy, but the cleanest of the messy?
I don't know that clean in the sense that he's not going to have necessarily massive legal troubles out of this, right? Like, you know what I mean? He's had his issues with,
but the podcast still goes on. Like that's what I mean. Like the business is still going to go on. It just doesn't go on with those guys. He did mention, like he was just like, honestly, like I don't understand why you guys are looking into me. Like I'm honestly richer without you guys.
Yes. You know what though? But you know what though? I'll tell you something. It's not even an issue of, to me, it's not an issue of right or wrong here, right? Because I don't think that Maul or Rory are wrong. We're wrong to say, hey, look, we've helped to elevate this podcast. We're trying to, make sure that we're getting paid properly, right? I don't think that they were wrong. I don't think Joe was wrong to say. Yes, I also don't think Joe's wrong to say sit your ass down and relax and don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? But I still think Maul and Rory had to realize that you don't win a chip without Joe, right? But I think Joe feels like I can win a chip without you, and I think what you're going to see is, and I don't know if he's right or wrong. I have no idea. That remains to be seen. But the one thing about Joe Budden is, we hate it. There are people that hate him. They can't stand him. They think that he's a screw up, that he sabotages everything, but he makes people listen to the things that he has to say. Let me ask you guys this question. The second Drake drops Certified Lover Boy, who are you going to listen to? Who do you want to go see?
I would love to hear Joe Budden's take on that. And
Joe Budden and Charlemagne. Those are the first.
Charlemagne, like not really, because I feel like he's not even genuine based off of his dumb take that he had. But Joe's like, I always, from when I started listening to Joe, I started valuing his opinion because he would have beef with people. He would technically hate them. Yeah. But the moment they drop some music, he's like, yo, listen, all that shit aside,
the music
still give you the flowers. Yeah. And
Drake's album was crazy. Important. M's album was whack, and it has nothing to do with my beef with him. Yeah, but he's gonna tell you. So that's what I agree. Like that's one of the first places I'd love to see or go to see.
You know what's funny? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I was listening to the pod. I didn't even realize that Rory wasn't on it because one of the dudes sounds exactly like Rory to me.
Oh, it was probably his manager Ian was on there.
Yeah,
and
Ian.
I think Parks was still there, of course, because Parks is
I know chilling. Parks was there, but
Parks is chilling.
But one of the guys sounded like, I don't know. To me, he sounds just like Rory. So, and they're basically the yes men. Like,
okay, so to wrap this whole situation up, let's just get some predictions here as far as how we feel or what direction, like both you can answer to both, how you feel the Joe Budden podcast is going to go from here, and what kind of route is he going to go from here? Because I feel like he wants to give Ice and Ish their own pod or like something separate if he's going to continue to have these guys as personalities. But I don't know if his podcast is just going to end up with like him and I don't know, fucking Savon and Parks and, maybe Ian might be a person on the pod now. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think he continues the podcast with Ish and Ice. I think that'd be a mistake.
Yes.
To continue with the three of them, because Ice and Ish have openly said we don't care about podcasting, we don't care about doing this, which by the way is something Maul said a little bit too openly, and I think that's going to hurt him quite a bit. I actually think Budden is going to go for a bigger play. I still think the DJ Academics thing, which is a major part in all of this, by the way, I think that there's an academics play there. I think Academics and Budden fell out because of some issues with Complex, and that being a third party, with Joe kind of having his own platform, with Ak having his own platform, and it gives them more power, gives them more say. I really think that you're going to see and hear a Budden Academics.
What was Academics saying about this?
So DJ Academics and Rory have this beef.
Yeah.
Basically, Academics thinks Rory and Maul, prior to them leaving the podcast, are just clowns, and he's been saying that forever. And he was actually on his Twitch earlier this week, and he said that Rory sent him a I want to say it was like a cease and desist letter, some sort of threat, and he just been clowning Rory. And the one thing you notice is that Joe Budden never stepped up publicly and defended his guys against academics. And I think Rory felt a ways about that because Rory's not stupid. He knows that academics, as much as I think he's a clown, the boy's got an audience.
He can't do that. He's a megastar.
Oh shoot! Scared the hell out of me. I was like, "Who the hell?
Joe Budden's here."
I'm like, where the
surprise, Shem. Joe has been listening this whole time.
Right? Like, where the hell? Good drop. I love that drop. Right? But yeah, so academics is kind of like that petty bitch in this sort of weird sort of situation right now. But I could totally see academics and Joe teaming up. And listen, it'll do numbers every time they
struggle
do.
Too.
It'll do numbers like you would not believe. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I definitely think there is a bigger plan. I don't know if it's going to be with academics, but I think Joe's definitely going to be on some bigger and better things. Like I think the pod as we know it will come to an end. Like it's going to be something completely different.
But like, look at us. We've gone through. We had 4 hosts.
Yeah.
We had 3. Now we have 2.
Yeah.
The pod is different now for sure than it was when it was 3 and 4.
For sure.
It's definitely not dead.
That's a good point.
So who knows? Like, is this just going to be a different podcast? Are we just going to have to get used to something different from the Joe Budden podcast? It'll still be in essence the same, but like in the way that they deliver, maybe it'll just be a different sound that we'll just have to get used to.
Maybe I say this for podcasts, and there's very few podcasts that I know of where it's just one person talking, one person telling a story or whatever the whole time. Maybe telling a story is a little bit different, but Joe's gonna have to find at least one other person that can be that sounding board where he can bounce ideas
like a B. Like he's a that he needs a B.
So who's gonna fill that role? You know what I mean? Like, and knowing his history, who's he gonna go to now to fill that role? And that's why I think the challenge will be.
It's Parks.
That was good. That was good.
I have another topic, a messy one as well.
Oh, I love mess.
Do we go messy or do we start with J. Cole? Because we can split up the mess.
No. Let's go messy. Then we cleanse. Then we go.
Cleanse it with J. Cole.
Cleanse it with J. Cole.
Okay, messy. We all know that J-Lo was single for like 30 seconds, apparently. Her and A-Rod didn't work out 30 seconds ago, and then allegedly there was some tampering going on. Allegedly there was some tampering going on, and Bruce Wayne, aka Ben Affleck,
yes,
came through and swooped her back. And if you didn't know, or you were born in the 2000s,
you don't know about
Benifer was a thing. How do you guys feel about that? And like, let's talk about this first because this is not the actual topic that I want to talk about.
Okay.
I'm
down with it, man. I don't like A-Rod, so
you're like down with A-Rod. Go Batman.
Honestly, I'm like, if I could see A-Rod lose, no, I shouldn't say that because whatever.
It sounds personal. You're like, he beat up on my Jays.
Honestly, he did. He used to kill us all the time, man. But there's something about him that just seems off and fake to me. So yeah, I'm down to see J-Lo with someone else or whoever else other than A-Rod. I don't think this will last either, but that's a different story.
J-Lo is out here living her very best life. She will continue to hop from man to man. I will continue to support her in every way, shape, or form because I absolutely love the mess. And what I really want, what I want for the culture, what I want for the timeline is I need a Geely Part 2. I need to see that. I need I need a Geely Part 2. I need them. I need her and Ben Affleck to do another shitty movie together.
You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna direct
that just makes the timeline go crazy. And then I want him to break up.
I need a Gone Girl 2 where he gets his spicy Latina chick. He leaves the crazy girl and goes to
Come on now, the content is listen. In my industry, I love it. I want more. I want more mess, and then I want J-Lo to go back to Diddy or Love or whatever the hell he's calling him back.
Thank you.
Whatever he's calling himself.
That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need.
That's what I need.
We need Jenny from the block back in the hip hop game, back with hip hop royalty. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another clip to support the same related topic here, because I want to bring this to reality and people that we know. Sometimes we know people that date people and they just can't, like, even though the relationship is over, they just find a new boyfriend like 30 seconds later.
Mm-hmm.
I have a clip to play here to springboard this question that I have. Where is it?
Oh boy.
Okay, here we go.
Out I went.
This is this guy who is reacting after finding out that his friend got back together with his ex. So somewhat, it's not the same situation, but something similar. Got back to his ex 3 days after he spent bare time giving him advice. So this is his friend's reaction to being like, yo, actually, I got back together with Shorty.
This is my friend. After finding out I went back to my ex after giving me 3 days worth of advice.
Oh my God! No one puts me sit back here.
Speaking of a chair right now, guys.
I'm sitting here. No one puts me, please.
Yo, whose uncle is that? Yo.
Is this a UK roadman?
Oh.
Get the Nocta jacket. So this was somebody going back to their ex, but have you ever had a friend that could not be single? And have you ever been this frustrated before because they could?
You see my eyes, bro? Like, yo.
Your eyes look like when you saw the Kawhi shot.
Yo, those are the type of friends that make you just want to cuss them out and say, don't talk to me about this ever again. Because they ask for your advice. It's different if they don't ask for advice. But when they come to you, like, bro, like, yo, here's the situation.
They already know. They already know.
It's like, don't come here. You already made up your mind. You're going to do what you want to do. So don't ask me for advice.
Do you know when they ask you the advice? And do you know, like, right when they're about to ask you the advice, you'd be like, I'm going to give you the mid advice because I know I'm going to be wasting my breath.
The first time, no. But then you get to know the friend. You know, like, if you're good friends with them, you know that they're going to run back to what's safe, what's comfortable.
Shem, tell me about your friend.
Well, this is a safe space, right?
Absolutely. Nobody's listening. It's just us.
So I was that person who would go back, like, freely and really and truly.
Perfect. Tell me why.
Well, I mean, how family friendly can I get? I mean, you really want to know why I kept going back?
It's whatever. Yeah.
Sometimes when it's good, it's good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes you go back to. I used to date this toxic ass girl. I mean, toxic. We used to argue and fight, and it was just never good. There was never anything good between the two of us, but we had really good sexual chemistry, and
perfect.
Yep.
You're killing it.
Yo, A1 on the drops. A1.
Thank you. It's been a minute. I need to drop 30 sooner or later.
A1 on the drops. Look, it was great, but we were terrible for each other. We used to fight, and I used to tell my buddy Chris, shout out to my buddy Chris, and we used to, I used to go to him always, just be like, man, you know, she cheated, or man, you know, we had a fight, or yeah, but you know, it's hard to give that up sometimes. It's really hard to give that up. And aside from like the physical side of things, this girl was the person that I had dated first, right after I had gotten divorced. So it took me a while to sort of open up my heart again. And when I opened up my heart again, I felt for this person, I felt hard.
You're like, this is it.
Right. I was like, I'm not going to get screwed over again. I'm not going to have my heart broken again. So I would do whatever I could to latch on and to hold on. Right. And so I was that friend for about 2 years. I was 100% annoying as hell. I was constantly going back to somebody that I knew was horrible for me. And even now I think to myself, man, had I just shown just a little bit of strength, I would have saved myself a year of just bullshit heartache, you know? But so I get it, man. I'm guilty as charged, for sure.
As a man who's been that person before, when you're asking the advice, are you truly seeking like the truth, or do you just want to hear what you want to hear? And if you don't hear it, you're gonna are you actually even like saying, well, she's not that bad? Are you like sticking up for the situation and like trying to justify it, and just hearing somebody say, I hear you, Shem, you right, actually, you know what, keep going. And
then I get mad when you don't like listen to what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? When you tell me no, the thing is, but that's the thing. I always knew what he was saying was right. Right. I always knew it, but I just didn't want to hear it. Yeah. Right. And because he would constantly tell me the same thing over and over again, which I knew to be true, I just didn't want to face facts, because I didn't want to give up that physical chemistry. I didn't want to start over again. Right. It's wild to think that, you know, when we're in our early 30s and our 20s, we think starting a relationship again, right? right? We start thinking to ourselves, oh man, I don't want to start over, as if we're so old, as if we're just, and I'm like, yo, we haven't even lived yet. You know what I mean? Like, life hasn't even started yet. So I've been that guy, man. I can't even lie about that. I've been that guy, and it's not always easy, but it's only when you finally get out of it, you realize, damn, I was toxic as hell, and I wasted so much time. Like, it just sometimes kick yourself sometimes with how much time you end up wasting.
That's fair. I've been in the scenario where, like, not that I went back, but I should have left earlier. You know what I mean? Like, things should have been just done from before.
Oh, I think I do know that, Patrick.
Yes.
I was that guy that was throwing a chair around, and yeah, I do remember. I've been him before, and it was you. It was because of you. Thanks, Patrick.
Wow.
I'm glad you figured it out.
Told on myself. No, but honestly, it's I get it. When you're in the situation, it's tough, right? But there are times where, like, I've had to be the friend where it's like, yo, just, we're not talking about this. We'll talk about anything else, but this topic right here, I can't help you with this one. You know what I mean? You just got to be that friend sometimes and let them figure it out. And to your point, Shem, like, they will figure it out at some point. They will realize that, like,
I think I've been like that person. Like, when I'm the person giving you the advice, the more and more that you quote unquote fuck up by sticking around longer than you should, the more brutal I kind of, and unforgiving and unapologetic I kind of get. Cause I'm trying to I'm trying to dig. I'm trying to be like, listen, bam, she sucks. She's whack. Like, you guys don't look good together. This is disgusting. It hurts my soul to see you together. Not that this is not something I've said verbatim to anybody. No. I'm saying for painting the picture. I'm performing, guys. This is a podcast.
Yeah. My bad.
But like, that's what I've said to somebody. That's what I've said to somebody. Essentially.
Yeah.
It's bad, man.
But I'm not sure if that's helped. Like, I don't know if, like, like, to you guys, to you guys, would somebody getting a little bit more cutthroat with their criticisms, would that help?
No, it makes me dig in. It made me dig in more.
Become this?
Yeah, it ends up being a fight. It ends up being, well, fuck you. What the hell you know? You know what I mean? Seriously, right? And you know what's wild is that a lot of the times the advice that I would get were coming from single friends. Right. So I'd be like, yo, who the hell are you? You ain't got no man, or you got no woman. Who the hell are you to tell me differently? Yet I was the one going to them, seeking out their advice, and then getting upset when they would give me their advice. You know what I mean? Like, that's stupid and toxic. Hella toxic.
I have, well, you said toxic, and it was a trigger word for me because I have a theory that, like, when we get out of this quarantine and stuff, toxic is just going to be like a type of man or woman that people will pursue because they know exactly what they're going to get.
Oh, they know what do you know what the vibes are?
Oh, yeah. That's a theory I'm working on.
It's about to be so nasty out in these streets when it comes to dating world. It's gonna get, people are gonna just be dating anything with
roaring 20s again.
With
roaring 20s, I'm dead.
anything with a heartbeat. People going in. It's gonna get nasty out here.
The first person that touches you, it's gonna be, ooh.
Game.
What
Ooh.
is
I haven't been
that?
touched in
I've
a
never
long
been
time.
touched by a human in
What is that?
2 years. Last person that touched me vaxxed me. I have one last ratchet topic before we go to J. Cole to purify us with the sage. So speaking of dating, speaking of being single, in Japan, sometimes women are single. Some of these women that are single are renting a boyfriend.
Come again?
They're renting boyfriends for upwards of $915 a day. Yeah, Shem is like, he looks at me like this is an ACN meeting, and I told him I could change his life. He's like, tell me more. Yes, I'll get you on this loom. Don't worry, I'll get you on this loom. No problem.
Oh, loom.
Shout out to all my Scarborough people that
Everyone knows about loom.
Yes, yes. Loom.
That's a loom.
Yo, why you say Scarborough too? Yo, I'm gonna fight you for that.
It originated. It was a virus that originated in Scarborough and spread all through the city.
Yo, I said a virus.
Foul.
This
guy's foul.
Oh no, I hate you for saying loom.
Honestly, though.
And Scarborough.
Anyways, forget about the loom, the rent a boyfriend thing. Let this TikTok guy explain it to you.
Okay.
Chinese women are renting boyfriends, and you're not going to believe how much they're paying for them. Instead of dealing with relationship problems, women in Japan are turning to a new option where they can hire a man to get the relationship experience. They hire these men, which they call hosts, to take them out on romantic dates, watch movies with them, and even cuddle with them at night. And these hosts are actually ranked by the amount of money they bring in, so the best ones will always cost a lot more. But you can expect to pay approximately $915 a night for a host. Same.
Do you guys understand? You
said host. I thought you said a hoe.
Oh, I know.
That's what I heard. I heard hoe.
I was
like,
really? That's the
easy.
going rate now? That's
Go right for a hoe. So do you guys understand? Like, does it make sense to you? Like, why a woman would pay upwards of $915 for a rent a boyfriend where they can go to the movies and cuddle with him for a night for $1,000?
Is that what's called?
Or is this wild? It's the company that I'm starting. It's Japanese LLC. I have a bunch of. I have a roster that I'm building.
Yeah.
I have a roster that I'm building.
Rent a man.
Look, I oh my god, I would say that's. I would say shout out to the guys,
right?
Because if you really think about it, right, like
Let's go.
You don't have to deal. You don't got to deal with none of the. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to deal with none of the drama. You're just there. You're just there for a temporary lease type situation, and then you could just give your month's notice and you out, and you don't got to deal with it afterwards.
Bro.
Oh, come on, that's a win. I don't even know why a woman would want to sign up for that.
Exactly.
That's nuts to me.
You're here for a good time and not a long time. Like, let's go, man. Like, yo, that City Boys are up right now. Just saying right now. It's a hot boy summer.
My producer says gross.
Hey. Men have been doing this for centuries. Men have been paying for the girlfriend experience, if you will, for centuries, maybe decades.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I'll go decades. So it's about time that the tables flip and men collect. I'm just saying. Listen, I think anyone who's single out there and wants to do this, I say do it.
My producer said take that energy to Japan.
I'm fine. I am happily engaged, fiancéed. I'm good.
It's like, it's not me. I'm just proud of my mandem.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, good for them. I mean, if that's what people want, and if you can afford to have a boyfriend for $915 a night, and as a man, you're able to transact in a way that leaves you with a happy customer or girlfriend for the night.
I mean, how hard is it?
Yeah,
really?
God bless you. Yeah, word.
How hard is it really? You show her a good time, go for dinner, make her laugh. $950 later,
gone. What?
Yeah, word. Okay, yeah, it's a valid point. So producer says she can't understand how, a woman would pay for that.
That's what I said.
When men's are doing it for free.
Yes. Why would you ever pay for that? And listen, I mean, I don't think I say
This guy's like,
that's right. Nobody. You ain't wrong. You're right. You're right.
But go ahead, Shem. Go ahead.
No, but you're right though. Like, why the hell would a woman want to really pay to do that? This is nuts. But again, I'm not mad at the mandem for that. Do you make your money nine how much?
$915.
A night.
So you're telling me 2 nights and you got rent for the month? You got a mortgage payment?
Bro,
Yeah.
Oh,
come on,
man, sign me up.
I mean, I got bills to pay, yo.
Right?
You can do that for like 4 nights and kick it.
What?
Easy.
4 nights. That's not even a full week.
No, you're good.
You're good.
You're good.
Yo,
we should get like the serial daters, like the J-Los of the world, to just do this and make money, and we'll own the company.
Yo,
not J-Lo because she's good, but like the ones that are like relationship wise built like J-Lo.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God. That's a
I like this. Rent a
mandem.
mandem.
I like it.
We'll talk
Rent
about
a mandem.
Rent a mandem. I think you would have to take rent a mandem to another market. Like rent a mandem doesn't work in Toronto. However,
you're right.
You take rent a mandem to like, I don't know, what would our top markets be? Maybe like would it be closer to like the northern states? Will we go foreign, like in the UK?
I think we
whatnot?
gotta go foreign. I think we gotta go foreign, yo.
Yeah. You
gotta go where we're
sure.
exotic. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, like Turks or Tulum or one of them places. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go there.
Maybe Dubai.
Dubai. Yes, Dubai.
Dubai could get messy though. Could they do some wild? I mean, at least I've heard.
I was like, what you know?
You might be paying a little extra more for that $915 in Dubai.
I already see the promo graphic. Rent a mandem has gone global. We're now operating in Dubai.
Fly Emirates, let's go.
Rent a guy in Dubai. Oh my God.
Rent a guy.
You know, take it offline. Take it offline.
We're done. You're right.
Oh, man, so
all right, let's cleanse this. Let's cleanse us a little bit.
Yes.
So J. Cole dropped his album. What's it called? With the burning basketball? Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm just wired that way.
The off season.
This
guy is the worst.
So J. Cole dropped the off season after he dropped the interlude first before he dropped anything. Mm-hmm. The internet went ablaze. Mm-hmm. Then he dropped a freestyle. The internet re-erupted. And then he dropped the album this, I guess, look, Friday. Yes, sir. Go for it.
One part you forgot.
What part? What I miss?
The news about him joining the basketball league.
Oh yeah, he's going to be playing basketball in Rwanda, which is oddly tied to this rollout because he's got the burning basketball net and whatever. Let's start there first. Do we like the artwork? Because I don't. I just don't.
I know you feel about basketball. Did that touch your soul? Did that hurt?
Yes.
It didn't. No, it didn't hurt my soul. You guys are just triggering me to get. You guys are trying to rise me to get a reaction.
Felt personal.
Basically, I just I don't understand what it is. I don't understand what he means. Do you guys get it? And if you could make sense of it, maybe I'll understand it and my opinion changes.
You're the Cole head, not me, man. That's all you.
You're the Cole head, not me.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I get it, but like it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
It's not aesthetically displeasing.
No,
you get it? Explain.
It's
loud enough so everybody could hear.
It's called off season, no?
So he burned the basketball net because the off season.
In the off season, he was lighting up hoops and lighting up tracks. That's how I'm reading it.
Oh snap!
Oh damn!
Everybody's been waiting for everybody to do something, music wise, the greats. And that's what he was doing in off season. He was doing both.
We don't got a drop for that because that's
hard.
A representation of both.
You
that's hard.
Don't be a bomb.
Yo, my third eye just opened, yo.
Holy shit!
Damn.
God damn.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
What the hell are you supposed to say after that?
That's mad intellectual.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an intellectual.
He is.
He didn't want you to see it for 10 seconds and be like, I get it. He wanted you to sit on it.
Damn.
So he wanted me to sing. Yeah, because he
Like
dropped.
a J. Cole lyric, you have to come back to it and hear it again. And
It's
you're
true.
Like, yeah.
It's true. You gotta
So he
listen.
drops
to
it with the
like
interlude. So he
4
gives you that. He gives you the interlude. He's like, make sense of this shit.
times. Yeah. Cole's a
What's
person
that?
you gotta like. He's gonna. I hate the term bar you down, but you gotta listen to the bars. And you gotta listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
For real.
That's right.
And he's coming through with the arrogance on this one, which is great. I'm not even meaning it as a diss. I love when my rappers are arrogant. So if that's where this is all coming from, where he's just like on some, yo, that's the visuals I'm giving you. I'm giving you the interlude. You make sense of it. You can't. Guess what? Here's a whole album. Have fun. And he's starting that track with that Cameron joint. Well, it's not a Cameron joint, but you know, he got Cameron talking shit on there. He got Lil Jon ad libs on there, and he's basically saying, I'm me, I am here in the game. This is who I am. You guys know who I am anyways. This is what it is.
I was gonna can I ask a question, Shaq. Is that cool? You guys? I have a question for you guys when it comes to the release of this. Do you feel like, I think all releases are obviously strategic, right?
For sure.
Absolutely.
Do you feel as though he had always planned to drop it in May, or with the Drake rumors of CLB coming out soon, you know, TDE teasing that somebody was coming soon, and we all thought it was Kendrick, that Cole said, you know what, let me go ahead and get my stuff out first, because once Drake and Kendrick drop, the conversation changes, and suddenly he becomes the Carmelo Anthony of that draft. To their
that is the best comparison.
That's a hot take.
Ever.
That's a hot take.
Ooh, I don't even know.
I mean,
I love it.
This was cooking for a minute.
Yeah.
I will say, like, he did, I think maybe beginning of the year or even end of last year, he barely goes on social media, but he did post something cryptic like, yo, I got these projects coming, but he didn't say when. But I think you are onto something.
Plural?
Because, yeah, he's got like
the joint thing with there's a joint thing with somebody else, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called now. But the fall off is the next thing that he's working on. But I think you're right though, Shem, because Drake was supposed to drop already. Drake was supposed to be January, and then there were rumors of April. But I think you're right. I think he looked at the timing, and we know Kendrick's coming. Punch already said Kendrick's coming. So I think you're definitely onto something there, man.
Do you think it was just like he had this ready to drop from Q4 last year? Certified Lover Boy was supposed to drop in January. That shit got pushed, and then he's just kind of sat back and he's like, okay, that's not coming out anytime soon. But then we started hearing the rumblings of TDE starting to come through. So now he probably was like, okay, I'm gonna hit the trigger, and he had this plot pretty much already laid out before he said, okay, interlude, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I 100% think that way, and I think, look at it like an NBA draft class, right? I think, Drake, Kendrick, Cole are always going to sort of be tied together, the three of them. And let's be real, people are waiting on Kendrick to drop, not just because he's great, but because of, with all the stuff that's been happening in the world, the racial tensions, you're kind of thinking that Kendrick's going to address that in some way, shape, or form in his music, and you're anticipating that, and you're looking forward to that. Drake, you don't expect Drake to tackle social issues, but he's Drake, and people are going to listen to the biggest artist in the world, period. What's that, outside of Cole fans, what is that sort of thing that you're looking for specifically from Cole to talk about or to speak about? Because he's not going to hit you with a club record. And I think from a conscious level and a social justice level, you probably want to hear from Kendrick more than you want to hear from Cole. So I think Cole is like, let me make sure I get my stuff out first, and I'll give him credit. He kind of, if you really look at it, he kind of dropped an album that's a little mix of Drake and a little mix of Kendrick, right? He kind of fit right in between by dropping this project. At the same time, I think in doing that, he might run the risk of getting sort of left behind and forgotten in a very similar way that, I think Melo has kind of gotten forgotten.
That is the greatest description as to like who his NBA comparison is. Yeah. I love it. Like, did you give credit if you stole it?
No, I seriously just here thinking about it now.
Straight off the top.
Listen, man, I'm an executive producer. You hear me? Don't you be disrespecting me.
You fucking right.
Yeah. No, I'm playing. Yeah, but seriously.
So I wasn't sure, and I was talking to my producer here previous to us recording. I wasn't sure if me listening to this album, because I listened to it twice, I wasn't listening to it like bar for bar twice. Certain songs I listened to more so than the others, or I was paying attention more so than others. But I wasn't sure if like, is it an evolution in my palette, as you guys have heard? I don't know if Shem, I started listening to like Sir and TDE and all this other stuff that is not trap and like club and hype type shit that I'm used to listening to.
Yeah.
I started doing that in the past year or so. So I'm not sure if it was me. Is it the beat selection? Because I know that the list of the producers that are included on here are the ones that I listen to. I don't know if it's like the collaboration level where J. Cole in the past couple of years has started to tap into people like Lil Baby and 21 Savage, and those are people that I listen to. So perhaps the whole projects and all these songs are just a little bit more listenable versus like what I would refer to as sleepy. Like, I don't think that's a thing anymore.
I will say this. I think it's a combination of all three. I think
Okay.
Shaq, you're getting older.
Yes.
You're growing up. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, ball,
but seriously, like the past couple of J. Cole albums, he's produced everything himself. He's done everything himself. There were very few features. If they were, it was Dreamville artists that he worked with. This album, he purposely has said, like, why was he he wants to work with other artists now. He's being more open to doing collabs, doing features, working with other producers. So I think that has helped for sure. So I think it's a combination of all those points, man. Like, I think Cole realized that he was only only having certain fans listen to his music, like just Cole fans. But now by doing this, he expands the palette to people like you, people who just didn't really care about his drop.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a cult following anymore.
Yeah.
Also, the times have changed. People are not just in the club or just in the
That's
sleepy
true.
shit. Everyone's
So
in
true.
kind of the same situation. So it's a different space. So you're hearing things and receiving things no matter who you are and what your palate is used to. Very
Big
different.
facts.
Next
Yeah.
episode, I'm
That
gonna give you a mic.
includes
She needs a
I'm
mic.
next-
I'm
You gotta
giving you a
get-
mic next episode. And I don't
Need
care
a
if you say you want it or not.
Yeah.
But I agree.
I
I
just
agree.
cleaned the bathroom before this. I'm not dressed for the space. You guys look.
You understand? I could give you a mic and you can still sit there. So
Parks.
you can literally be the Parks of this shit. Just the voice of God coming through. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a combination. I think so. Was there a favorite on here? Was there a moment? Were there a couple of moments that you guys found noteworthy, worth bringing up? Because I saw the NBA Twitter was going crazy off the Dame snippet. I need to re-listen because I missed that. Like I was.
Me too.
Yeah, I missed it. But did you guys have moments?
Yeah. I liked 100 mil. I
Mhm.
thought that was good. Of course, applying pressure, like and then the one with Lil Baby, like Pride is the Devil.
Rise the Devil was my favorite, and that
That's
was
my
before Lil
favorite.
Baby came through, and I was like,
Facts.
okay, this is where I'm
Facts.
growing because I
Facts.
didn't even see Lil Baby coming through. I didn't
Facts.
read the featuring. I just
Yeah.
listened.
Yeah, and like I say that all the time. Like I 100% wholeheartedly agree that Pride is a downfall.
Malik
of-
says that
of
shit
all
every
men. Like,
day.
Pride will literally destroy you. It will ruin everything you built. So, and what he's preaching on there or what he's rapping about on there is facts, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about you, Shem?
Yeah, no, the Baby record, stands out. Baby collab, stands out. I love the way it starts, though. I also love the way the whole project starts with 95 South, I think the name of the record is.
Yeah.
With that camera on set. I mean, come
Cameron.
on. Like, and again, like he started out the album and it made me sit up for a second. Because I'm with you, Shaq. Like when I think of J. Cole, I'm thinking, all right, it's gonna just be something mid, something that only his Cole fans can really understand, and that's cool.
Let me
But
find
I
my indica.
immediately-
Let me find my finest indica to enjoy this.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's true though. But then when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, we all know Cole can snap. We all know
Yeah.
Cole can spit.
Yeah.
It's never been about his ability, but that production just hit different. And I think your producer is 1,000% right. I think the times that we are in, we're not all out at clubs, where you can hear this sort of music. We're listening to it in different spaces with different headspaces as well. And when I heard it in my car, because that's where I like to listen to albums first. Like I love listening to albums in the car. I don't want to listen to it off my phone, sitting in my room. That's just weird and moody.
Also.
And it's highly disrespectful. You know what I mean? To projects.
How is it moody?
Sit there on my phone and just listen. No Bluetooth speaker or nothing. I listened to my car this morning, and I was just like, yeah, this is like, oh wow, okay, Cole's coming different. And I thought the whole project from start to finish, from a production standpoint, from a beat standpoint, and I mentioned this either at the top of the podcast or just before, he reminds me so much of Nas in that sense. Always could spit, but just the production and the beat choices just weren't always at that level. But on this project, home run.
So
home run.
Let me ask you guys a question then, and I'm gonna spin this. This just came up in conversation we had this week, Shaq, so you might know where I'm going with this, but T-Pain came out. There's a clip this week where he's talking about, producers deserve more credit. They deserve the clout. Yeah. They determine, what's hot, what's not. What do you think about that, Shem? Just based on what you said, where like, and you too, Shaq, where you're talking about the beat choices, the production on Cole's albums really stopped you from kind of getting into listening to him a bit more. Now that the production's changed, it's a little bit different. Is that what brings you in? Is it the production first? Or is it like the lyrics and what's being said?
Again, I think it depends on where I'm listening to the music, right? If I'm sitting in a club, I'm not dying to hear something that's going to be super lyrical content. Give me something that's going to bump, that's going to make me move. But I will say this, I don't think producers get enough love and credit, but it still takes a certain level and caliber of artist to perform a record. Right? Like, for example, Dr. Dre could give me a dope ass beat and my dumb ass is never going to perform it as well as it could because I'm not a performer, right? I don't have that ability to do so. So
people will still listen though if the beat's fire.
But they will listen, sure. But I mean, what longevity do I have if I'm trash, right? And again, like I think you still have to have a level of performance to it. So I don't think that you can separate and say one is more important than the other. I think they have to go hand in hand. It's tough. Producers don't get enough credit though. I don't think T-Pain is wrong about that at all.
I don't think it's one or the other. I think in certain genres, producers shine brighter than others. So in a genre of hip hop where the J. Cole's, the Nas's, I'll even throw in there like the Benny the Butchers and those type of people that are just giving you bars. The producer matters. Yeah, I'm not going to say that they don't, but we're not drawn to it as much because of the producer. It's mostly because of the artist. I think when you start going to like the down south stuff with the trap stuff, the hype stuff, the songs that you want to hear in the club, that's where the producer is a star, and they're definitely getting the clout, which is why you're more so even hearing the producer tags on that type of music. Why do I know Take Keith by name? Why do I know Zaytoven? Why do I know Drummer Boy, Hit Boy? Why do I know all the boys? Because it works. It's easier to be the focal point, or at least a star worth some clout in that kind of genre. And I'm not saying one like it's the right or the wrong thing. I think it just is the nature of the music, because the beat is almost equally a hero in that down south stuff and some of the trap stuff where the artist might not be as strong. The artist doesn't have to be as strong when the beat is punching you to death.
That's true.
And that's where the whole mumble rap thing, which honestly is like, mumble rap is like the same way that like people tried to like loop black people into BIPOC. I just hate those gigantic groups. You know what I mean? But I don't like
talk about it.
You know what I mean? Mumble rap, they'll be like, they'll take like all these rappers, and you're like somebody who listens to everything. It's not, they're all not the same, but they call it all mumble rap. But I'm just saying, like, what?
Yeah, it's wild to compare. Yeah, you're right. Because, if you're just looking at the broad term of mumble rap, and I think that's a great point when you bring up black people and BIPOC. If you're looking at just mumble rappers and what people sort of define a mumble rapper to be, that means you're seeing Designer and Lil Baby are both the same. And it's like, wait, time out. Wait, what? The guy that did the Panda record and Lil Baby, who
Just because,
out here.
just because they got crazy ad libs doesn't mean that there's not substance.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Just because the beats aren't
people
crazy.
Don't know. They're not familiar to it.
Sometimes they just don't know how to listen to that music too. You hear the beat more than you actually hear the words, and then it's like,
well, don't get on the track with a fire ass beat if you cannot rise to the occasion.
Yo, come on, man. Listen, get hand over the mic, man. What's wrong with you? Come on, hand over that microphone right now, man.
But I'll also say there's a reason why J. Cole is not on a Metro Boomin beat. As much as I would love to hear that sound,
that'd actually be,
and like I would love to hear stuff like that where he's experiments, maybe has a couple moments with it. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't ever recommend, as much as I would like to hear it, that he switches over, because then you're losing the reason why J. Cole is J. Cole. He's not going to be the one who's going to be the.
He doesn't have to switch over to do a Metro beat.
I don't want him to.
It could be a marryment of the two. And I think at the end of the day, going back to what you said earlier, when he was not having any features from anybody that was not Dreamville or any at all, he was trying to prove a point. And I think he's proved the point. And now he could really do anything with anyone. And that's the point. And I think that's the point of this, is like, shit is different and I'm different and you're different and I could do anything.
The producer's also unofficially part of TDE, if you didn't know.
I was going to say, TDE over there.
It's West Coast over here. Shout out to LA, shout out to Compton, you know what I mean?
Jeez. Damn.
So yeah, I just feel like the producers, I don't know if you guys agree with my take, where it's just like the down south stuff, the producers get the deserved clout, and sure. It just balance itself out depending on the type of music that people are making.
I also think
100%.
it was like, I think so too, and I also think it was just like different time periods. You know what I mean? When New York was running the game and it was New York rap, it was the producers that were getting
back, bro.
No, but I'm saying like back in the day though, you know what I mean? It was the producers who were really getting the shine, and then the MCs came to light, right? So it's when you don't.
That was a bar about MC Light.
Hey, shout out to MC Light. But you know what I mean? I just think like when a sound is new, it takes people a while to get familiar with the sound. Absolutely. You know, so you recognize producers first. It was also new music too. I just wanted to plug that. You know, Young Money's back.
That was like new-ish music. They did another one of those things where it's just like, here's all the stuff from when Nicki Minaj had them straight bangs and was kicking it with Gucci in the A, and like it was good. Like I don't know, I'm not really a Nicki Minaj fan. I'll say that for sure. Like I'm absolutely, and I keep testing the waters. I'm always dipping my toes to see if I fuck with it, but never turns out to be that way. But I will say that the what is it called? Seeing Green. Drake absolutely snapped. Killed it. Yeah, he definitely did, and we could have done an interlude where, like what the producer said. Actually, her takes are crazy. She's getting a mic next episode. The Drake part could have just been an interlude on its own.
Facts. I what I love about that record, Seeing Green, I mean, we're not necessarily talking about it too much, is that they both, all three of them went back to their older flows. If you really listen to that record, right? They really, really did. And it's interesting that they went back to their older flows on an old mixtape, even though that track is new, right? I thought that was really special, because I mean, I love Wayne, but Wayne has not been hitting.
Nope.
For me in. It's been a while. Is it crazy
almost
to say a decade?
Almost a decade, probably.
I think it's crazy to say that.
It's not.
Right? Like
I think No Ceilings was like the last thing.
No Ceilings was definitely the last of it.
Yeah. Right. So it's been a minute for Wayne, right? And Nicki has sort of. Nicki has sort of fallen trapped to the stupid thing that I hate the rap game does, where they kind of make it like you can only have one female rapper be hitting at the time, and I'm the one, and that's it, which is stupid. But I like the record, but I'm still waiting on CLB. I really think this is going to be Drake's real classic, like universal classic, because I think so. I think it's going to be it. So we'll see what happens.
I hope so, and I honestly hope and agree. Like I agree, and I hope that because Cole dropped right now, it means like next month, midsummer, we're gonna get at least a Drake project, because I'm not sure. Like we still have no signs of Kendrick. I know that TD's coming, but we still don't have any signs of Kendrick per se.
I know. Drake's coming though, man. I feel like the rollout is starting to take place, man.
The haircut has been installed since Q4 of 2020.
But then he mashed up his ACL, right? Or his Achilles or whatever it was.
Yeah, but
Achilles.
he's down, he kicking it over there.
But it's coming. It's gonna be the summer album, man. Like when we're outside again, we'll have it. I think that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for Toronto to be free, and he's gonna drop the album.
Well, shoot, we got Doug Ford, so he's gonna be a minute. So I don't know what.
you got to wait till
it's
June.
gonna be a hot minute. Yeah, but I also don't think Drake cares.
Yeah,
we need it. We need it soon.
I don't know if you have a topic, Patrick, because I have something that I don't know if I definitely didn't write this, but I'm triggered by it.
Be triggered. Say what you got to say.
I don't know why you wrote this here, but it says that are fashion forward men untrustworthy?
I mean, hey, this was something I saw. So listen. I saw this.
You saw what? Where, Patrick?
I think it was Oxford University, or I can't remember. Now. I got to look at this. And it was an article that they published, and it was a study, a survey. And according to the women that they surveyed, women felt like men who were fashion. I use the word fashion forward, but
what did they use?
I don't even remember.
Bodman?
Yeah, you wish. Men who were like the flashy dressers were less trustworthy. If you
Flashy
put more
dressers
time
are
into your here, let me find it here. Sorry, it's University of Michigan. My bad.
Okay, less valuable data there.
But it says men wearing extravagant fashions more likely to be untrustworthy. Also less interested in having long-term romantic relationships. And so those are the two big things that I took away from this. And I think there's some truth to that, man.
Tell me more about this truth that you believe.
I don't know, man. If you spend more time on how you look and how your fashion than your woman or a girl that you're seeing or whatever, I don't know, man.
Hey, the time I spend is equal. No, it's not even equal. But I feel like you should care about what you look like. That's my counterpoint.
For sure, you should.
And the time is like you could take 5 minutes to figure out what works for you. I could take 20. I could take a couple hours. But I think that time is relative. Whatever. I think you need to take some time to figure out what you look like.
Okay, not the time. Let's correct it. Not
get off the time.
Not the time.
Okay.
But it's so much the aesthetic of.
So just caring in general.
No. Don't get defensive.
I'm not defensive. I'm just cheesed a little bit.
And why did you think it was about you? It wasn't even.
I felt like you were trying to trigger me.
I mean, you got the dangly earrings. No. But
it's been a minute.
And you're good. You're in a relationship. I just think there's the guys who are really out there just flaunting like every single post on social media is their drip and this and that. I would look at those guys a little differently, man. Like,
what do you think, Shem?
I mean, look, I think men are so, especially society has sort of treated like men aren't allowed or aren't supposed to care about their looks, and if they do, somehow that makes them a little bit more like frivolous and not as serious. You know what I mean? So I think that's probably where it sort of leans into. At the same time, like, I mean, do you really want a man who just doesn't give a shit, who just doesn't
Nobody
really care?
wants that.
Like, I don't think anybody really wants that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody really wants that. I think whoever wrote that article probably is speaking from a little bit of insecurity, a vision of insecurity, right? Like, I also would argue on the flip side, right? Women who take very good care of themselves and care about that stuff. I bet you there are some men who probably think, well, they're probably untrustworthy. You can't trust them either. Right, high maintenance. You know what I mean? Want like they want attention. You know what I mean? So I understand the premise of it. I just still think it comes from a place of massive insecurity.
I think so. I think it's insecurity. It might be. I can't speak to the research that was done because I can't imagine it. Like, yo, did a fly dude break your heart? Yes.
I think that's what
men that dress good are bad. Yeah. They're untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Aren't you a man that wears Wrangler jeans?
Nobody right. So I think like I think people that care about what they look like, are included in this bracket. Therefore, like kind of excludes what these findings could have been.
Fair.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I don't. I was just about to say I just don't know what type of research, and I think that's a big thing for me. I want to know what they really did. Like,
for sure.
All jokes aside, I'm curious as to how they got there.
Yeah, no, same. I'm curious too. I did not see. It was just the clipping in a headline.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
The clickbait.
Like, ooh, spicy. But
this guy ignored the trigger warning. He said, "Wait, what?" This is...
But I don't know. I feel like there could be some truth to that. You know, I think, not that I think, I know like anecdotal evidence. Like I've seen guys who are the type who, they're getting the eyebrows shaved, they're getting the waxes, they're doing this and that more than I'd say like some women that I know who do that. And these guys are shallow. These guys are just about hitting it quick.
I mean, like by talking to them, like that's the topic of conversation. Like when they talk about women.
Yeah, and it would be the dudes that like I would see in the gym who are just, they're shredded. Like, yeah, these guys are ripped, and that's all they care about is just looking good, smashing as many girls as they can, and that's all they care about. And I've seen this a handful of times to say that, like, I think there could be some truth to some stuff in that article.
Oh, I mean, there is a fleet of men that move like that. But I'm just trying to, I just don't think that's like substantial enough to say like, yo, you look good. Let's just tell people that, if they look good, they're for the streets. Like that's fair. So what are we just
triggered by this? I know.
No, I'm just like, I want to make sure that people know that like if somebody look good, they're not for the streets necessarily, and you shouldn't settle for a homely person.
There's obsession and there's
homely.
So paying attention to how you are presenting yourself physically and how that represents yourself internally is all the time intertwined. So if you're coming out here, you men are who you are, be it podcast host or executive producer /
You see how I got that title right? Love you for that. Love. That's love. That's love.
That's a part of your presentation too. Let them know who you are out here. This is how I refer to myself, and this is how you'll refer to me. Put some respect on my name, and I think that comes with how you groom yourself and how you present yourself physically. No, we're not talking about obsession to where it's like you're number one and you're like being the most more than women. Like, relax. But yeah, there should be some sort of self-care involved in you stepping out.
Big facts.
Who are you? Are you a king? Are you a boss? Because if the first thing that walks up to me is a bum, I'm not going to believe anything else you say.
Well,
so, and that's the thing, and that's just coming from men that are in a space where they're trying to make moves. You can understand that.
That's fact check.
You're not gonna go in. Look at you guys. You guys look great right now. You're not gonna go anywhere looking dusty.
Oh, Shem's got a hair like a nice lineup, and we don't even know how that's even possible.
How? Where are you finding?
How is that even possible?
You're finding a barber.
Yeah.
I know your barber. He's acting like
don't let Douglas know. Don't let Douglas know.
Let's just chill, guys. Come on now. Everybody relax.
Yeah, you should have came through with a do-rag and hide that shit.
Yo, I should have came with a hat. You're right.
Yo, can I flaunt real quick? Just on that note.
Go for it.
I bought some Fenty skin products.
Fenty skin products? What you get?
Excuse me.
So you're about to be see me in a little bit. I haven't tried it yet. It just came today, but I tried
you
get. I can't expose because some of it's a gift for my girl, so I can't really expose too much. But
she's a listener.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all you can say.
That's all I can say. Just check on me in a couple weeks, so you'll see the skin clear up. The blessings. I love you.
Last call for topics because I think we want to let Shem go to sleep.
It's his bedtime. It's his 1 hour.
We want to get this guy out the stew.
I get tomorrow off, man. It's all
okay. Good. I was about to say
that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Oh man, that is hilarious. What do you got?
I just want to shout out my homies.
Look, I can say for me, like it's just been, this has been a dope way to spend recording this on a Friday night, just to kind of chop it up and just talk about life. It's kind of almost been therapeutic. I don't know if you guys ever look at what you do as therapeutic in a lot of ways.
All the time.
But yeah, it's been great. I can tell you, it's been a stressful ass week, and this has been a really dope way to end my week. So thank you, thank you.
No, thank you for joining us. I'll give you the applause now. Usually I wait a little longer, but I'll just. I do want to give a shout out to Hada.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, on Instagram, Hada, HADDA, I think it's .co, but if you search Hada, you'll find it. They just dropped a new line of their sweats. Like, they do full tops and bottoms. They got beanies, and their stuff is actually fire. The colorways that come through, they take a lot of time in terms of like the packaging and the quality of the materials. And this shit is stitched. It's not that stuff that where you wash it and it comes right off. So if you've listened this far and you trust me as a person, I'm gonna just this is just free promo because I love these guys and the products that they make. NWTH10 will give you 10% off. Patrick didn't even know this shit was coming. He's gonna have a conversation later. He's like, "What's the splits?" So NWTH10, that'll get you 10% off all the products on their site. So if you can check them out on Instagram, I'll be posting about them. You guys have probably already seen me post with them. So just wanted to share that love. But really appreciate you coming through, Shem. Like, this is an awesome episode. I'm excited to, again, this makes me want to record in person even more so than ever. And I hope that we get that chance really soon. So I really enjoyed having you on the pod, man. And is there anything else that we can look out for? Any passion projects? Or are you going to continue to tease us saying that you're ready to pull the trigger on something potentially, possibly soon?
I'll say this. I'm doing a video sort of series with Donovan Bennett, who works at Sportsnet.
Nice.
So we're actually filming that in a couple of days from now. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just look out for a major career move. I think in the next within the next 6 months or so, I'm going to really make sure that I take the next step. I'm really having some conversations right now behind the scenes with some people to make that next move, because I think it's time, and I appreciate all the support. And the one thing I want to say this, I'll leave with this, is that I'm really big on putting other people on. I think you don't get anywhere in life and this industry if you're just looking out solely for yourself. You're not looking to try to uplift other people. Definitely. So one of the things that I would say, and I'm not trying to imply I have a bigger platform than anybody else on here, but I want to do a better job, and I vow to do a better job of making sure that I'm posting your guys' content, putting what you guys up on my Instagram stories.
Appreciate
that.
The
Six, right? But it's the truth though, right? And Six, shout out to Six again. He does a great job of that. I see him constantly pushing people, and I think that stuff is great. And I think we need to do that more. We need to start celebrating each other more, and recognize that we all can eat. We all can eat. You know what I mean? We can all coexist
and bring each other up. Yeah.
Yes. And I really truly believe, I know you guys have gone through some changes and things of that nature. I really truly believe that you guys are sort of that podcast that it's just about to, I see a Spotify deal in your future. But I think those are the heights you got to look at, right? Don't even laugh at that. Spotify deal coming, Apple Music exclusive deal coming, whatever it is, see that for your future. Because, there are a lot of people doing podcasts out here who aren't doing it really well. I think you guys do it well. And the only thing that I ask is that, when I ask for my splits, you don't button me. You don't button me all of a sudden, and then decide.
Yeah, splits on 2 episodes. we got to divide those 2 episodes by the hundreds. And then the splits off of this, you're gonna probably get about maybe 20% for these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
We'll get you $7 annually.
I'll take it annually.
That's a royalty.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. I gotta say, Shem's Shem's been a big brother, man. So from the start. I remember when you got, you know, you were going to journalism school and all that. And I was like, I'm asking your sister, I'm like, yo, like, let me talk to your brother. I want to understand like how to do this, all, like, you know what I mean? So I see the grind, man, that you've been on. I see the journey and just appreciate the support all the way across, man. So big up to you.
No.
This guy.
I'm killing
Rock
the board
King.
today.
This guy's killing it.
This guy's
Today.
back, yo.
Rock King.
Yes.
Shem, where can the people find you on your socials? I'm pretty sure it's very simple because you're just
Very simple,
Shem.
at Shem SHEM on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you really want to be disgusted and angry and pissed off, follow me on Instagram for sure.
Don't follow me on Instagram.
Yep, because
Follow
Lord
then
knows.
block him.
Yep, then block me because you're gonna need to, because I got a post coming for early next week.
Has it loaded?
He's ready. He's got it. It's in the draft.
Oh my God. It is just gonna piss everybody off. I can't wait.
No unseasoned chicken.
It's worse than that. You wait and see.
All right. We'll look forward to that.
The world general speaking.
Yes. Patrick Dennis Jr., you know what it is, guys. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter. Appreciate it. Appreciate the birthday love. Thanks again.
Yes. Welcome to the 30s, my friend.
Hey.
Shop like Shaq. You waste you.
Shop like Shaq with a K. We're gonna see what happens when we give Shem another opportunity to freestyle on this outro. I love it. Every single time he's like, all right.
Did you know that I had this in the tuck, did you? Y'all ready for this? Yo,
Get him.
out with the hype. Hit him. Budden with Shaq and Pat. Didn't know I had that, did you? Budden with Shaq and Pat. Hey, producer. Hey, producer. Dropping gems. Shem. Hey.
You blue facing, word sticks.
I love it.
Oh, ridiculous.
Hey.
Sick.
Telling you.
And that's it.